What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and today we're going to fire up a little bit of rF2 because there's a new car, the Camaro GT3, which is, of course, what I'm driving. I'm going to be doing a 20-minute race here at Silverstone against the AI. Got the Corvette GT2 in there to mix things up a little bit. The Camaro should be a little bit faster, I would think, around here. But we'll see how that plays out. But I gotta say, the AI in this game is absolutely stupid when it's around itself. Okay. I gotta say, the model for this car, the car model, does look very, very good. It's actually modern standards. What do you know? It's definitely the best looking car that they've done in terms of model quality. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best looking car that they've released because, yeah, the Camaro is cool and everything, but quite frankly, the Corvette is a better looking car. Saying it is like a battleship on wheels. The cockpit makes you feel like that. But, hey, if you've ever seen the new Camaro in person, you would know that that's not really all that far-fetched from what it actually looks like. A battleship on wheels. A cool battleship, but nonetheless, it's still a battleship. This is a pretty good car, though, in terms of selection for rF2. Obviously, GT3 is kind of one of the hot classes right now. Pretty much anything and everything that someone wants to race in it, they probably can if they put the effort into it. Such as a Camaro. Yeah, battling it out with Ferraris, BMW Z4s, and McLarens. Camaro. Oh god, I like the new Camaro, don't get me wrong, but that's just silly. Yeah, at least the Corvette kind of looks like it belongs racing. In terms of drivability, though, this car it's kind of like the Corvette. It reminds me a lot of the Corvette, only not as twitchy, but at the same time, it will get more sideways than the Corvette will. The Corvette's a car that you really have to pay attention to, and it's kind of somewhat difficult to drive with the default setup. And, you know, once you do get a good setup underneath it, it does change entirely. So if you have only tried the demo with the default setup, get a new setup, trust me. The car's a lot easier to drive then, but you know, I think that's going to be the same case here, although I think it's a different way, basically, because it's not as bad, but it's still not ideal. Then again, as a default setup, that should be expected. I've made a couple of changes to the setup, most notably softening the car up a little bit. Just run that Corvette wide because I feel like it. I have turned on a little bit of time acceleration. That way we should hopefully get into the end of the evening, maybe a little bit into the night. Because I'm actually kind of interested to see how the lighting works, because rF2 is really enigmatic. Yes, it really is. I still haven't quite figured it out, because quite frankly, I look at a car like this, really good quality model, really good high quality car, honestly. And then you look back at the renders of the historic Houston G6 or whatever, aka the Lola T70, and that was quite possibly one of the worst renders I've seen for a preview since 2004. Just, oh my god. It was bad, if you ask me. Although I am excited for something like the Lola T70, but not with that render. But that's really a small thing. That's quite insignificant. Whoa! Badass points right there. It only needs 2 wheels. But it's just like, I can't quite figure it out, you know? It just doesn't really make sense. as to why there's such a giant disparity in the quality, it seems. But hopefully going forward, we'll see more cars to the quality of the Camaro here visually. I mean, physically, I'm not worried about how those cars will drive. I'm not worried about how this car drives or anything like that, but yeah, that's definitely tweakable with the setup, which, you know, I have made a couple of changes. I haven't really dived into this car yet, obviously, given that it's still the first day that this car's been out. Okay, we're still ahead of that guy. You can definitely tell that this car is not as refined as the Corvette, though. This car just feels, well, like I said, a battleship on wheels. And again, that really is the difference between GT2 and GT3. You know, some people think that GT3 is automatically slower because it's GT3 and 3 is greater than 2, so it's got to be slowest, but it's just because the FSAA is a bunch of douchebags like that. I don't know. Still not really sure why GT2 cars don't race anywhere outside of the ACO series, but at least in terms of majorly. I'm sure there's a few national series where GT2 cars are allowed, but my God, this definitely, this setup needs to be changed. It's not very stable under the transition onto power. But one thing about GT3, I guess with that segue, one thing that I've really noticed that really kind of annoys me, developers not properly implementing cars. And given that this car is a GT3 car, I am pretty sure that it's running ABS. That's something that every GT3 car has, as far as I know. Something that's allowed over there, not allowed in the ACO series with the GT2 cars. But as far as I know, iRacing is really the only one that, you know, forces or enables you to use assists that are on the car itself in the style that they're used for. You know, yes, there's assists here in rFactor 2, however, thank you. Thank you. I love the AI in this game. Brilliant. We're stopping on the straightaway. But the assists that are used here are built to keep you on the track. Assists used in the real race cars are used to make you go faster. You know, they're not going to make a terrible driver good. They're not going to make a guy who can't find a way around the racetrack suddenly into freaking, you know, Michael Schumacher or Senna or whatever other driver you choose to insert here. Turn on the headlights now. Which I really wish more sims would actually get around to doing that, as well as giving proper tools for the car. I don't think that's really an issue with the GT3 car, but obviously with that IndyCar content that's coming up for rFactor 2, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'm really excited for that. Please, ISI, hurry! Can't wait. You know, that's absolutely crucial. That is not an optional thing as far as I'm concerned in those type of cars. Especially with Indianapolis Motor Speedway, because you kind of need the in-car tools because that's why they're there. And we have got a choo-choo train of AI. Okay, and we're stopping. And we're stopping in the middle of the corner. The AI is set to 105%, just for those of you guys out there who are curious. and drive like a bunch of grandmas. Looks like we're halfway through the race, too. Not sure what I think about this car's cockpit, though. I mean, it's the best looking cockpit available, you know, so far from ISI content. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm talking about here. But that dashboard display unit thing over there in the center console just looks weird. It's like someone downloaded an app for their iPad and just put it in the car. It's like, here you go. Here's your display. Short shift there over that curb and still get it wrong. But it's cool to have a different GT3 car. Plus, it should allow us, you know, to kind of compare against sims. I mean, it's a GT3 car. Yes, it might not be to the same standards as the McLaren 12C or the, you know, 458 or the Z4, but, you know, by and large, even though it is a front-engined rear-wheel drive car, you know, I'd expect it to behave in a somewhat similar fashion to, you know, the iRacing 12C, as well as, you know, the project cars Z4 and SLS. Because, I mean, they're GT3 cars. A car built to the same rulebook is not going to behave entirely different. You know, yes, there will obviously be differences. I mean, mid-engine versus rear engine versus front engine. You know, yeah, it's gonna differ, but, you know, a GT3 car is not going to be able to brake 400 meters later than our GT3 car. I've kind of fallen off my pace here. This car is just so freaking big. It really is. You really do feel the bigness of this car here. Although I do have to say one thing on the cockpit. That center dash display. Finally! They actually did one of those in good quality in R Factor land. Finally! I mean that. That is something that has really annoyed me about ISI cars. Yes, it's kind of weird. Don't get me wrong. I know that. But it irks me. For example, the Corvette, the font used in that is so... Well, it's the same one actually used here, but it looks worse in that car. And I'm sure someone is complaining about the fact that I even said that. Which, to be honest, that's not why I don't play R Factor too much. I don't play R Factor too much because there's just not a car I really like. Slash, there's not cars to race that with. That said, you know, GT3 and GT2 are not the same class. They were not designed to race with each other, you know, or anything like that, but they're close enough that I can make it work. Gotta say, it really looks good in the shadows, too. You know, so I could definitely see myself spending more time with R Factor because of this car, even though I still think I prefer the Corvette. Why are you braking on the straightaway? You're doing it wrong. Don't pinch me. I gotta say, whoever... Whoa, surprise Corvette. Whoever did the skins for this car Please don't ever do more paint jobs. Please. I am being entirely honest when I say that. But that will be easily fixed, as they'll surely release a template, and then we can get some good looking paint jobs. Overall, I gotta say I like this car. It's definitely up to a more current standard visually, which is a very good thing. Physically, it kind of drives like the Corvette, only bigger, fatter, and heavier, but more fast in a straight line, I guess. You know, it definitely is a different car, but it's still a very similar car, so if you enjoy the Corvette, you're probably going to enjoy this car. Oh no! Run way wide there. I gotta say though, the cockpit does feel like I could do a, endurance race in this thing and not be bothered by what I'm seeing. Got good vision out the front, relatively. Got a nice, easy to read display, easy to read center dash display. Got the rear view mirror right there, fairly close. Given that I do run a lower field of view, do try and keep things as correct as possible. I don't know, it's a nice car. It really is. Just need to work on this setup because it is terrible. Ooh, nice purple sky there. Just put our left rear on that rumble strip on the outside there, and that upset the car. Come on. Woo! Never know what you're going to get with the AI here. Breaking offline, not a lot of grip. I'm going to make it stick though. Gotta say, I really want to like rFactor 2. With another GT car that I can actually enjoy driving, because quite frankly the GT1 car, the GTR, is fugly as sin. Not a fan of the GTR, plus the fact that it just doesn't really work all that well. I don't know, I don't feel like it's to the same standards that they currently have, which, that car was done a long time ago, so I can't really necessarily hold it against them. Plus, I mentioned the GTR is ugly. Hey, they actually look pretty good in the rearview mirror with the headlights on. Does anyone else feel like something just like randomly stopped lighting up the track? Like suddenly, I feel like this circuit just got a whole heck of a lot darker. Got my headlights on. See, that's one of the things I just don't understand with rFactor. This is the same bug that was in rFactor 1, and it really makes things quite unbearable because I really want to race at night because I enjoy endurance racing, and that's where you race at night. You know, the same thing with the GT4, the 370Z. That car has terrible cockpit lighting. Whenever a car behind you has their lights on, you never know what you're going to get. I can't even freaking see the track. Where the hell are we going? Where the hell are we even going, guys? I am literally like right on my steering wheel now trying to see where I'm going. I can't see, my headlights are on. So at the end of the day, this car is pretty good, but it's still the same old R factor. And that's not intended as an insult to R factor or anything like that. You know, the Corvette I can drive at night, you know, perfectly fine, no issues. I know some people say it's too dark, but it ain't nowhere near as dark as this, baby. Okay, we're almost there. This should be the final lap. At least I hope it is, because I don't feel like playing night driver here. Yeah, we survived. And just for proof. Yep. Lights are on. Lights are on. Nobody is home. ISI, please learn how to light your cars up at night. And you know, I know someone's gonna say that this is beta and everything, but they removed the beta tag, and this is a bug that has persisted since R Factor 1. It still doesn't work right. Or is my car supposed to have lights that twitch on and off by themselves randomly? Works fine. So that's that. I'm going to show you guys some replays so that way you can hear how the car sounds without me talking about it and see it from the trackside cameras. All right, bye.